Hey Wobble Gang, I do hope you are doing great. My name is Ollie. Hit that subscribe button if you love a good Reddit story. Alright, let's get into our first story of the day. Our first story of the day comes from Jazz Like Sugar 7209 in the Off My Chest subreddit, and it says, "My husband is best friends with his ex-wife. My husband, a 36-year-old male, and I, a 34-year-old female, have been married for 8 years, together for 14. And we have a 4-year-old daughter who is our whole life. He had been married before to Eliza, his best friend. They married at 18, lasted 2 years, and divorced. They remained best friends, and when we started dating, Eliza, my husband's other best friend Jack, and my husband were a tight-knit group. Eliza was one of the bros, and I was always the girlfriend, and later, the wife. Always an outsider. His 2 friends are single, so our house was always a place to crash. Even since we moved together, they would show up unannounced and do their own thing while I made snacks and full meals. For the first year, I tried my best to integrate into their clique, but it never worked out. It was always awkward, and I felt I was inserting myself where I didn't belong. So I stopped trying and relegated myself to being a great host and let them do their things. I didn't notice at first, but over the years, resentment had built. I feel like a 1950s housewife, serving drinks and lighting cigarettes for men. My husband, on his own, is amazing, and I love him. He has been a great partner and my best friend during these 14 years. The problem is, I'm not his best friend. Eliza is. Every single thing that happens in our life has to be discussed and analysed with Eliza. Early in our relationship, I got pregnant. I took the test early in the night, and we were really scared. Despite this, he was so reassuring with me, holding me the whole night and telling me he was ready to do whatever I wanted to do.
I said I needed to really think about it.
The next day, we went to our classes and agreed to have lunch together. When we met, he asked me how I was and all, then told me he had the contact of a doctor who did terminations. It was illegal back then. I asked how he found one so fast when I wasn't sure what to do. Answer, he called Eliza early in the morning and she had a friend. I felt so betrayed because this was something that belonged to me, and he went and shared it with someone else. "Not just someone else, it's Eliza, come on," he said. During the next days, every time I saw him, he had new information from Eliza and Eliza's friend. I was so confused and scared, and Eliza convinced my boyfriend we needed to do it fast because it would be easier. It was so much pressure, I agreed. Long story short, it was a rat hole doctor's office, and I almost lost my life there. To this day, I don't know if I should have kept the baby or not, but it's better not to think about it. When my boyfriend proposed, Eliza was fake mad because he didn't tell her first he was going to propose to me. The only way to placate her was to have her as a best man, despite my husband having a male best friend. Every little or major event in our life turns into, "Yeah, I'm going to tell Eliza now, you know how she gets." I was sexually assaulted as a child and told this to my husband. He was the first person I talked to about it. Months later, Eliza and I were alone in our kitchen, and she started to talk about something she heard in the news about a girl harmed by a family member, and then she hugged me. When I started to try for a child and I got pregnant, I asked my husband to keep this between us for a little. It was Wednesday, and by Sunday, when I saw Eliza, she congratulated me. I ended up miscarrying. I started to look for a doctor to help me deal with my depression, again, something I wanted to keep to myself. Eliza was so understanding. When I was pregnant with my daughter, Eliza came full of advice on things I should do. I told her to mind her own business, which really hurt her feelings. I stood my ground and told my husband I wasn't going to raise my child with Eliza and didn't want to hear any advice from her. This was a big fight with my husband because I was rude and Eliza was family and already considered herself an auntie. This has been the only time I have given an ultimatum to my husband. Eliza better keep herself away from my motherhood or I will leave. Now resentment has reached a point when I don't want her near me or my house or my husband. I feel she is more married to my husband than I am. My whole life feels like I'm living in a best friends to lover drama. I'm not sure why I'm writing this. Probably because I'm alone in a coffee shop and thinking I want my husband to be my husband and not feel like a lame love interest in someone else's epic love story. In the past, my husband thought I was being childish. Despite loving him, I can't keep being married like this. I don't feel I can trust him to talk to again without involving Eliza, and I don't want to hold on to ultimatums. Too long, didn't read. My husband is best friends with his ex-wife.
I don't trust him anymore. Oh my, this is a real mess, isn't it? You've got this 14-year tapestry of a relationship intertwined with another narrative, and it's just plain messy. I mean, you've been accommodating and, dare I say it, relegated to the role of waitress at your own life's dinner party. And the worst part is, you've got these sacred, deeply personal moments being tossed around like dinner table anecdotes with Eliza. Eliza, the ever-present shadow. Always there, always involved. Almost like your husband's emotional Siamese twin. I mean, my dear, your life sounds like a real-life soap opera, where you're not even the star of your own show. It's absolutely absurd how every intimate moment of your relationship seems to run through the Eliza filter. At this point, I'd say enough is enough. You are living in a never-ending third-wheel nightmare. Stand your ground if you can, because honestly, loving someone shouldn't come at the price of losing your peace. And I bet you guys watching think the same. Let me know your opinions down in the comments, because this one, folks, has left me absolutely speechless.
A Reddit user says, "Wow, that's a really heavy one. Have you confronted him when he told her things you wanted to remain private between the two of you?"
OP Pops responds.
"Yes, I did. He always acts like it's just Eliza. I needed to talk things out with someone. I needed support, an outside perspective, to vent." A Reddit user says, "My best friend during these 14 years. The problem is, I'm not his best friend. Eliza is. I was going to say this, but you already saw it. He is getting to be her best friend and scoring being best friends with both you and her. Perhaps you should get a new best friend."
Someone says, forget this guy. You can have female friends and not have them be a part of every part of your relationship, especially when it comes to such sensitive information as your childhood sexual assault. That crosses every boundary. You said it best yourself. He's your best friend, but you're not his. Sorry to be blunt, but you are the person he dishonors. He's having a full-blown relationship with Eliza except for the physical intimacy. Your first baby. I know you don't want to think about it, but please think about it. You are uncertain, then your husband comes home with an abortion resource, and information and a place to go. He ran to Eliza and said, I want her to have an abortion. Eliza helped him get that. You nearly unalived. Who do you think would have comforted him if you unalived? Eliza. He doesn't love you like he loves her. Your second baby. You begged him not to tell anyone. He told Eliza. He does not care about you. You are not his partner. You are the person he dishonors and the mother of his child. You are not important to him. I'm sorry to be blunt. You have begged, pleaded, and given him an ultimatum. He still runs and tells Eliza everything. Do you want this to be the example for your daughter? Is it okay for your husband to love another woman? Is it okay for you to be second place in your husband's love and affection? Divorce him and reclaim your life.
A Reddit user says, "The ultimatum isn't really about Eliza. It is more that the husband cannot recognize boundaries and be a united front with his wife. That's just a sad situation. I'm sure in some ways Eliza feels like a victim too. I have friends that I consult with because sometimes that is what friends do. I have male friends because I want to have a better perspective on how to do right by my male partner instead of letting my emotions run their course when I have off days. I mean, if the husband is always like, you know how Eliza gets, tell the husband to stop spreading personal information because Eliza and he himself should know how you get. If the relationship is worth fixing, I would personally confront Eliza and tell her it's no fault of hers, unless there is, but that your husband cannot establish boundaries for all matters, which is deteriorating your ability to have a positive relationship with her. And that if she wants to start over with you and proves she respects you as his wife, she would personally set the boundaries herself. But it sounds like that ship has sailed already." 3 heathens. Mom says, "I wonder how your husband would feel if this situation were reversed and it was you who was sharing intimate details of your married life with your ex-husband who was still your friend. Would he readily accept advice from your ex regarding your relationship, like how to be a better husband or a supportive father, helping you with advice on treatments for a private health condition your husband has? Bottom line, your husband needs to decide who is the primary woman in his life, as right now it sounds like it is his ex-wife. I suggest couples therapy, assuming he will go. At the very least, you will then learn if you need to end this relationship because your husband will never prioritize you over his best friend. You deserve better.
A month has passed since we last heard from the OP, and she finds herself reflecting on her feelings regarding her husband's friendship with his ex-wife. Now, she comes with an update and says, I'm going to start by expressing how thankful I am to everybody who showed grace on my last post. This isn't a happy update. If anything, welcome to the pity angsty train. After writing my post and reading how most people felt about it, my head was full of doubts and sadness. Your opinion isn't a surprise, since most of my friends and family have voiced the same at some point. I guess I'm too slow and need to be hit harder to understand. A few days after my post, I took a pregnancy test, and it was positive. Having a large family is what we always wanted, and ever since my abortion, I was left with a feeling of having empty arms. So, holding my daughter in my arms was like feeling whole again. And now, I need to expand my arms even more to hold my new baby too. But after the initial happiness, an ugly feeling started to grow in my stomach. I didn't want Eliza in our life. It felt like taking my innocence glasses off and I was able to see her. Like, really see her. How every smile was so fake and every compliment was always mean-spirited or kind of a self-compliment. Nice potato salad. It was great. Oh, remember, to my husband, that potato salad I made? It was kind of unbelievable, blah, blah, blah. Or, nice outfit. I love how confident you are. I can't leave the house without making sure my outfit is flawless. Her reaction to my first pregnancy, wedding, travels, my second pregnancy, buying a house, was always questionable. How everything that should be between my husband and me always included her, as if our life were a play she should write and direct. On our first Christmas together, she came when we were decorating, and with all her positive critiques, I ended up sitting in a corner drinking wine while she and my husband decorated. She is always here. And by here, I mean in my life. She has a say in everything in my life, to the point that when my husband voices his opinion, I can tell when these are his words and when they are Eliza's. I'm not saying that since I wrote the last post, everybody turned into the ultimate evils, but thinking and rethinking about my life with my husband, I'd always been a passive character. It's like my husband got himself a pet, and he and Eliza are going to be endgame when they both realise they never stop loving each other. Some of you, like my sister, will say I'm dormant. I guess I am. I have let this go for so long that it becomes normal. My life isn't bad. My husband hasn't been a bad husband. And Eliza isn't so bad if the bar is she hasn't tried to unalive me yet. I know it's clear to you all, but to me, it has been my life for years, my day-to-day. I learned to look away and make myself small so I don't make others uncomfortable. Maybe because I'm pregnant and hormonal, but I'm tired of this. I love my husband, but I feel he can't love fully with Eliza whispering in his ear and him running like a golden retriever to please her. So, after all that thinking and rethinking, I sat my husband down and told him we needed to set some strong boundaries because our marriage wasn't working and I didn't feel loved or respected as a wife or even a person. I explained more or less what I said here. My husband denied everything and tried to explain himself, saying Eliza was like a sister to him. I said even siblings have boundaries. It was back and forth, with him making me doubt if maybe I was in fact trying to control who was or wasn't in his life. He suggested my monitoring of his friendships, even joking that he would need to sneak away to have a drink with his buddies. For a moment, I felt maybe I was in fact crazy. But I was firm in my stance. If he wanted to keep this marriage, Eliza needed to be gone from our life. At first, I thought low contact was good, but seeing his reaction, I knew that wasn't going to be enough. Maybe I wouldn't be seeing Eliza, but he certainly would, and I would be antagonized and mocked. Honestly, knowing this made me realize my marriage was over. So I asked important questions and pressed. What were his real feelings? Why did they divorce if they were so hung up on each other? Why not leave me sooner? Why not leave me? Did he love Eliza more than me? Why? What is that? What is it that I don't have and she does that makes her impossible to leave? In summary, he loves her, but he loves me. He doesn't understand how. Both of us bring something he doesn't want to miss. He is not sure if he wants a life with Eliza like the one we have, a marriage, a family. But she is his soulmate. They divorced because between them there was so much fire they were burning each other. With me, he has calm, peace, and a loving place to come back to. He has never cheated, but admits he sometimes fantasizes about her being me and me being her. They often talk about them having this life, but agree that being together would break their bond.
It's all messed up, my God.
I know it was kind of obvious to you all in my first post, and it should have been obvious to me, but hearing my husband say he loves another woman who is his soulmate, and that he put her at the center of our life, made her an auntie to our daughter and some kind of sister-in-law to me, a supposed family friend. I'm not going to lie. It broke me. I threw myself on the floor and hugged his legs, asking him what I needed to do for him to love me, to only love me. I felt so pathetic, but I believed everything was worth it to save something with so much value, like my marriage. I cried and cried and cried. And the hardest part was hearing there was nothing I could do. This is all. I know it isn't some shocking news, but to me, my life is falling apart. The only thing holding me up are two little hands that hug me every night and the small bean in my belly. We haven't discussed anything legal yet. He left the house and my sister and mum are staying with us for now. Oh my goodness, let me tell you something. This situation is just heartbreaking. I mean, what am I even reading? Who in their right mind puts their ex-wife at the center of their new marriage? Seriously, it's like having an uninvited guest permanently lodging in your life. And to hear the husband say that Eliza is his soulmate, yet he stayed with his wife because she brings him calm, that has got to be one of the most absurd justifications I've ever heard. And it doesn't even stop there. The emotional manipulation is just outrageous. The OP's husband claims that Eliza is like a sister, yet he runs to her like a lovesick puppy, whilst his wife is left feeling like some side character in a twisted love story. It's like she's watching her own life unravel from a distance. And who could blame her for feeling heartbroken? And then the husband has the audacity to twist things around and make it seem like OP is the one being controlling by wanting boundaries? Are we serious right now? It's just unbelievable how she's made to feel guilty for wanting a healthy and respectful relationship. Bloody hell. She deserves so much better than that. If you're listening to this, you felt that anguish too. And I hope OP knows that she deserves someone who chooses her unequivocally, without another shadow looming over their life. I can't even begin to imagine the emotional turmoil, but it's clear she's stronger than she knows. Honestly, good riddance to any relationship that makes you feel less than you are worth. Drop your thoughts below. I need a cup of tea and some serious reflection after this one.
Okay, Willow5217 says, he's a selfish, cruel man. She is equally horrible. He used you and kept her around, and she played along with it. He says he sees her as a sister, but then says he fantasizes about her being you and you being her. Both cannot be true at the same time. She is either a sister to him or he wants her to be his wife. All he does is lie. He was living his best life and got everything he wanted. He has cheated, maybe not physically, doubt it, but emotionally he has. You deserve to find someone who truly loves you and chooses you every single time, not someone who has another choice. You were their little doll to play with. You gave him all of these wonderful things so she didn't have to. But she gets the perks of being your husband's girlfriend without ever having to get pregnant or do any hard labor in a marriage. I'm so sorry.
A few weeks later, the OP provides another update on her situation, sharing her current feelings and decisions regarding her husband and his relationship with his ex. Here's what she has to say. Hopefully, this is going to be my last update, but not the end for me. Thanks again to everybody who sent me encouraging messages or replied to my last two posts. To clarify a few things people guessed, yes, I'm South American. I live in a very religious country and was raised Catholic, even though I don't follow any religion now and consider myself atheist. Some things are deeply ingrained in our brains. Also, yes, I grew up seeing my mum crying over my dad's multiple affairs. I always thought I wouldn't let something like that happen to me, but oops.
Luckily, I started seeing a therapist and will heal a lot of things. One of the very first things I started to discuss with my therapist was my abortion and how deeply that hurt me and how big the impact was on my mind. And yes, some of you guessed well. After the abortion, I was determined to get something good out of a very traumatic event. Since I loved my then boyfriend so much, maybe our relationship could get stronger and better, and I fought hard for that. Then, after a time, it was more of, have I suffered so much for this relationship just to lose it over this one thing? No. And later it was just, this is my life, go to sleep and get over the pain. Now I realise how similar that was to my mum's mindset while forgiving my dad, but since I wasn't getting physically cheated on, I never crossed my mind I was doing the same thing. Now on to my husband and I. We are getting a divorce. I put on my big girl pants and went to talk to him again. I promised myself and my children I would never beg someone to love me, and my children wouldn't have to grow up believing that something is worth more than loving and respecting yourself.
Okay, so I went to talk to him, mostly to say I wanted a divorce, that's all. At first, I wanted to write all the things he did that hurt me and how much they hurt. But what's the point? Communication time is over for us as a couple. He was all shocked and then teary because he didn't want a divorce. He tried to convince me to take more time to think. Then he tried to negotiate what I needed for this to work, what I wanted and what he was willing to do. He was so generous to offer to take some distance from Eliza to work on our stuff. I laughed like a maniac because he said our family means everything to him. Our daughter, our new baby. I was something he valued so much. I was the heart of his family, and he will always love me and be thankful for all I gave to him. This hurt because, yeah, he doesn't see me as a woman or his wife. I'm the mother of his children. I'm the one who takes care of him and his house, and he's thankful? It was a long talk, but it was mostly the same thing again and again. In the end, he proposed I keep the house, stay married, because his job has a lot of great benefits, and I should use them all, even if we weren't together. He would cover all expenses, and we could live in different houses. In the end, he reluctantly agreed to divorce. I'm working now on establishing new boundaries. I agree we should keep it friendly because we have 2 kids to co-parent, and since he doesn't have a place to live yet, he could hang with our daughter in our home, take her to the park, etc. But then he was showing up unannounced in our house, cooking for himself and acting like he still lived there. I was getting really uncomfortable. I had asked for his keys prior, but he said he wanted to keep the keys for emergencies only. One day I snapped and told him to either give me the keys back or I would change the locks. Again, he was all teary because he said this was still his home. I said it wasn't anymore, so no more hanging out here. Now I'm thinking it's best to sell this house and find something new that can be mine and the kids' home only. As for Eliza, some of you will be happy to know they aren't together. He isn't staying with her and, for all I know, she has distanced herself from him. Maybe she only liked him when he was in a relationship. Or now that her power trip is over, she isn't interested? He is pretty heartbroken that his absolutely best friend isn't with him now. Like, really heartbroken. I know this because a mutual friend told me, and when he comes to pick up our daughter, he seems in bad shape. He is unkempt, has lost some weight, and always looks so tired. My pregnancy is doing fine. As you might have guessed, I'm not interrupting it. So, between a divorce and having a baby this year, I guess I will have a very eventful year. That's all, I guess.
A Reddit user says, so your stupid ex lost you to keep his affair partner, and now the affair partner left him. What a dumbass.
Months later, the OP brings us another update, and she says, Hi, I'm writing here because I'm unable to sleep. It's been 6 months since my last update. I'm now 9 months pregnant, and my daughter is 5 now. She is a sweetheart. My last months have been rough. Life is beating me up like if I was the one who stole baby Jesus' pacifier. My ex was very respectful the very few weeks. He came regularly to pick our daughter, put his share of money, was attentive with me, and I thought, whoa, maybe this is going to hurt like hell for a long time, but it's going to work. My mum and my sister were great. I swear this pregnancy has been easy. Sometimes I forget I'm pregnant. I found out the reason for Eliza and X's fallout and learned it directly from Eliza's mouth. She called me one day and said she would like some words. I wasn't sure, but we met. She said she wanted to apologize for a couple of things, not realizing how badly intrusive she was in my marriage. She knew she was, but did not realize how bad it was and how toxic. Enjoying the influence she has on my husband,
Knowing he would do as she pleased gave her a sense of control she didn't have in her life, and she apologized for all the pain she caused me. We are no friends or anything. I'm trying my best to not hate her, but I'm glad that finally my feelings and insecurities were validated. On their fallout out, apparently when my ex was sleeping with a friend, at some point between when he left the house and when he returned begging to save our family, 2 male friends, Eliza and my ex, were having drinks. They were drunk but not wasted. Eliza went outside to smoke and my ex followed her and tried to kiss her. She rejected him, asked what the heck, and my ex went all romantic about the fire he felt for her. He was full of fire for her.
It was always her. She laughed and called him pathetic. She told me that, so I know exactly what kind of man he is. Now the rough part. After a couple of weeks, he started to press again for being together. One day he was being so aggressive about it that when I said I would die first before being with him, he grabbed me by my arm and left a mark. He basically disappeared. He isn't helping with child support and I'm alone paying for everything. I'm really struggling. When I do see him, he mocks me, saying we could live better if we were together. I'm so glad I don't love him anymore. Let me tell you something. Trying to process this saga is like untangling Christmas lights while blindfolded. I swear, I've read a lot of dramatic stories, but this one takes the cake. 9 months pregnant and dealing with not just a useless husband, but his ex waltzing into your life with apologies. Are we serious right now? Insane! And then, as if that wasn't enough, the husband melts down into this tragic, regrettable scarlet letter, confessing undying love to Eliza like he's auditioning for a failed romance novel. Oh my. And the worst part is, he lays a hand on you, leaves a mark, then disappears like some petulant ghost, refusing to pay child support? It's just, are we living in the 1800s? It's absolutely outrageous that a grown man thinks this behavior is anywhere near acceptable. He's dangling this nonsensical prospect of a better life, like a twisted fairy tale. Please. What? So sorry, OP. At this point, I'm just laughing at the absurdity. You deserve so much more. I know I'm not the only one losing it right now. Drop your thoughts below because I need therapy after this.
Someone says, I left a comment on your last post that she never liked him back. She just liked the control she had over him. The thing is, she knew what she was doing, to the point it ruined the marriage, and now she's sorry. Girl, bye. She too can kick rocks. Your husband is still an idiot. Onward and upward.
A Reddit user says, take him to court for child support and cut off bitch Eliza for good. She is a snake and skank. She definitely realized what she was doing. She was in your life for years. What the fuck? Things will slowly work out. I am sending positive energy your way, wife. You got this.
OPP responds,
I already took him twice to court for child support. He has already been mandated to pay. I'm preparing to go again, and since it's the 3rd time, they're probably going to retain his paycheck.
Nature's Vivid Pictures says,
Well, once that baby is born, and if you haven't already done it for your daughter, file for child support and get it automatically deducted from his pay. The state will ensure that if you're in the United States, and if not, the country you're in, I'm sure, has a very similar system. So find out what you need to do and make sure you get child support for both children.
OPO responds,
I said already I filed for child support, but he didn't pay a dime. I went a 2nd time, and this time it was calculated taking into account what he owes. I'm preparing to go a 3rd time, and since it's the 3rd, they will retain his paycheck. It's not doing nothing. I know those are my kids' rights.
Our next story comes from Friend Conflict 54 in the Relationships subreddit, and it says, my 20 female friend, 21 female, is going to great lengths to prove that my boyfriend, 24 male, is cheating, even though I know he isn't. So I live with Emily, a person I met a couple of years ago. We became fast friends and admittedly moved in together last year out of convenience, but have stayed true to our friendship, which has definitely strengthened. My boyfriend is Sam, someone I met about 1.5 years ago. We've been dating for just over a year, with our relationship transitioning into a long-distance relationship about 5 months ago because Sam moved for work. I never thought that there were any issues between Emily and Sam. In our early stages, she was very gracious and seemed to know the perfect balance between socializing with Sam and giving us space. It was only when Sam moved away that she started making little comments about how funny it would be if Sam had a side chick in his new city, or that I was actually a side chick and he's gone home to his family. There is no way this is true. Sam has always been honest and open, has always mentioned that he quickly shuts girls down if they try it on with him. And as for the family thing, I helped him move into his small 2-room apartment, not a family home. I've always shut this down very quickly whenever Emily starts on with it. However, recently she's been taking extra steps to try and make me believe that my boyfriend is cheating on me. She told me over dinner the other day that she had proof that Sam had slid into the direct messages of one of her friends and showed me a screenshot of Sam's secret Twitter account hitting on her friend about 9 months ago. This account was not Sam's username at all, and just in case it had been a secret account, I searched the username and it came up with a profile of a 15-year-old boy also called Sam.
Though I told Emily this, she was insisting that this profile was my Sam and that he was clearly catfishing using this kid, or that he was Sam's younger brother. Sam has no younger siblings. Last night, she sent me an SOS message saying that there was an emergency, but after rushing home to see what was happening, she said that the emergency was that Sam doesn't have his Facebook relationship on his profile and that it was obvious he's trying to appear single. The reason his relationship isn't public is because I asked for it not to be, since I don't believe that my relationship status is everyone's business. We are in a relationship on Facebook, but only privately. Yet again, I explained this to Emily, and she still tried to argue that he could still be cheating, and that I was subconsciously manipulated to keep the status private by him. I really wasn't. I'll clarify here that I've never said to Emily that I think Sam will cheat on me in his new city, because I don't. Simple enough. It may have been that she was jealous or wanted him for herself, but she is in a relationship of her own. Her boyfriend of 2 years is over usually 2 to 3 nights a week. I'm definitely going to put her on an information diet regarding my relationship, but should I consider going further? Too long didn't read. My friend and housemate is constantly trying to convince me that my boyfriend is cheating on me using flimsy evidence. Is there a way of getting her to stop?
Let me tell you something. This is absolutely bonkers. You've got a supposed friend who is just hell-bent on wreaking havoc in your life. I mean, really. Emily needs to take a step back and reassess what friendship actually means. And the worst part is, she's going about this with such half-baked, ridiculous evidence. It's laughable. A fake Twitter account of a 15-year-old. She can't possibly believe that's your boyfriend, right? Tell me how this makes any bloody sense. You know, I genuinely think she might be projecting her insecurities onto you. Maybe there's something amiss in her relationship. Or, in a twisted sense, maybe she feels like some sort of relationship detective. Either way, this is intrusive, borderline toxic behavior. You've done a commendable job standing your ground, and it's clear Sam's been upfront with you. But honestly, keeping your relationship details away from her claws is a wise move. Perhaps sprinkle a bit more distance. And you know what? If I were in your shoes, I'd probably reevaluate the entire living situation. Maybe have a brutally honest chat with Emily and let her know that you won't stand for this invasive nonsense. If she can't respect your relationship, then boundaries aren't just optional, they're mandatory. Drop your thoughts below, because I need therapy after this.
9 days later, the OP comes with an update, and it says, Original post.
So, I posted a few days ago about my housemate Emily, who had made it her life's mission to try and make me see that my long-distance boyfriend Sam was cheating on me. After posting my original post, I sat Emily down and told her that I would not be engaging in conversation with her about Sam at all. She tried to claim it was all in my best interest to listen to her, but did rein it in. Drama over. Until it all blew up. I got a very angry message yesterday from Emily's boyfriend, calling me every name under the sun, including a homewrecker. I asked him what the hell was going on, and he said that he knew all about how I'd been cheating on Sam and how I'd convinced Emily to do the same to him. It turns out he'd found out that Emily was on Tinder and was talking to guys, and had even met up with a couple and done whatever. I had no clue she was doing this. Whenever she left the house for the night, she always said she was staying at her boyfriend's. I told him in no uncertain terms that I had not encouraged Emily to cheat on him, and I was not cheating on Sam. He then tried to claim that Emily had told him that I was away getting with some Tinder guy on a specific evening that I wasn't in the flat. I was celebrating Sam's birthday with him in his city and had the timed and dated photos to prove it. And of course, Emily knew where I really was. I have no clue whether or not her boyfriend believes me,
but I haven't had any other messages from him since.
Emily was wailing at my door about 10 minutes later, saying that her ex-boyfriend had gone insane and she only cheated because he was abusive. I can't say I saw anything, but I also can't say this was a definite lie. And she was scared about his reaction, so she said I was involved. She then said that I would understand her position if I'd broken up with Sam like she wanted me to. I'll admit, that got my attention. I asked what she meant, and she said that she had wanted us both to be free from our partners. But she knew I wouldn't cheat on Sam, so had tried her best to convince me that he was cheating so I would leave him. She got the door slammed in her face. Even if she did want an escape from her own abusive relationship, her non-stop attempts to persuade me to leave my boyfriend just for her own gain is enough for me to just cut her off. I didn't even wait until Emily woke up this morning to put my plan to move out into action. The landlord has been contacted and is very understanding. We're very close to the end of our tenancy anyway. So I'm breaking my lease and I'm going to spend the night in a friend's spare room before making my next move. I might write her a goodbye note, but she hardly deserves it. I've been wondering for a while whether or not I should move to be with Sam. I think this is now going to be a big part of my decision. Also, a lot of comments in the original post were suggesting that something had happened between Sam and Emily while he was still living in this area, and she was trying to make me see that without coming clean. I didn't reply to any comments because I know the sorts of responses I would have got to. I know he's not cheated on me with Emily. But I do know he didn't. He never contacted Emily privately and was really only friendly to her because she was my housemate. Sam was just as unlikely to cheat with Emily as I was with any of his friends, family, or housemates. I know some of you may still think that he could still have cheated/cheat in the future, and I can't definitively say he didn't/won't, but I'm not going to ruin my relationship with what-if style thoughts. TLDR. Housemate who was trying to prove to me that my boyfriend was cheating was actually cheating on her boyfriend and wanted me to join in by convincing me to dump my boyfriend. Found out from her boyfriend, who had been told that I was the one telling her to cheat on him. I wasn't. I'm moving out as quickly as my legs will let me.
Someone says, make sure to photograph the apartment so that you can protect yourself should Emily try to damage the apartment after you break your lease. While your landlord may provide your security deposit, Emily may try to sue you for damages incurred during your tenancy that prevent her from getting her security deposit.
A Reddit user says, send both posts to Emily's ex. Expose Emily as a lying, crazy girl. You're doing the right thing, but I would ensure this is all documented. Someone this crazy can't be trusted. The simple accusation of domestic abuse will destroy someone's life. If she is willing to turn on her partner or ex, then she could do far worse. Also, please say your boyfriend knows about this. She may try to contact him.
Oh my goodness, what an absolute whirlwind of chaos. You couldn't make it up if you tried. Imagine sitting down to enjoy a cup of tea and scrolling through Reddit, only to stumble upon this level of absurdity. Talk about drama fitting for a Shakespearean play. So, the housemate saga continues to unravel, and the absurdity just keeps piling up. But you know what? Despite all this madness, life goes on. It's stories like these that make you reflect on your own life, doesn't it? I mean, please tell me I'm not the only one left speechless by this. All right, my dear internet friends, it's time for you to jump into the comments section. I want to hear your thoughts, your outrage, your wisdom, whatever you've got. And hey, if you've made it this far, why not check out some more incredible stories on the channel? Let's face it, Reddit never disappoints when it comes to twists and turns. Hit the like button if you're keen, subscribe if you're curious, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheerio!